All right. I think we'll just wait just another 30 seconds here to make sure people that are going to join are going to join, but this is going to be recorded, so not a problem if you can't stay the entire time. But I'm joined here with Casey over at Strittmatter, a service roundtable member who's been utilizing Hatch for quite some time. And Hatch, we thought it would be helpful, not just to hear from us, because obviously we're a separate company versus what you actually do over at Service Roundtable to help each other. Really just hear, I guess, from the horse's mouth and exactly what you're doing and, how everything is actually working for you over at Strittmatter for multiple different things, whether it's the downturn of the economy or even how you're utilizing Hatch. I think we'll just get right into it. Casey, again, thanks for joining me today. So as I mentioned, Casey, is you are the marketing and recruiting manager for Strittmatter and Strittmatter, correct?
Strittmatter and also our sister company, Strittmatter Home Services, both in the DFW market.
Awesome. So yeah, just a quick agenda, today, really just going to go over one, how you use Hatch, two, what are you really seeing within this economy and how you're adjusting, three, just how you're handling your current database, current customers, and maybe non-current customers as well. So I guess I can kick it off. I guess if you wouldn't mind, just if you could tell me a little bit about, Strittmatter and Strittmatter and what do you offer? How do you service your clients on a day-to-day basis?
Sure. Okay. So Strittmatter is located in Denton, Texas, and we are essentially, Strittmatter is located in North Dallas. We're about 30 minutes from one another. And our team at Strittmatter actually manages the entire operations and team at Strittmatter as well. So we've taken a lot of the best practices that we've seen at Strittmatter, and we are slowly rolling those out, systems, processes, and all of that at Strittmatter. We've had really good success in the last year. And so both companies are residential heating, cooling, and plumbing. Very, very light commercial on the plumbing side. But our target customer is that homeowner. We don't do anything really, truly with home warranty. I mean, we deal with homeowners. Lots of, replacements, repairs, maintenance, things like that. Just the general kind of HVAC and plumbing gamut.
Awesome. Makes it a little bit easier when you don't have to do a lot of RFPs,
right.
on those commercial jobs. So, how did you come to sign up with Hatch and Service Roundtable? Did you find us through there originally?
No. So, I started with Strittmatter a little over 3 years ago, and the owner, Joe Strittmatter, actually was kind of at a pivotal place. Him and the plumbing company owner, they were at this place of okay, we're either going to make some serious changes or we're going to sell. And they decided to dig in, grit it out, change a mindset, hire a marketing manager, and go, full throttle, essentially. And so when I came in, they had been with Service Roundtable for quite some time. There are some, longtime powerhouses in Service Roundtable that, you pay your monthly fee and you have access to so much coaching and training. And these were the people he was really seeking the coaching and training from. And, one of the biggest things I believe he learned was that, if you want to grow, you cannot continue doing what you're doing. You have to change. You have to adapt. You have to adapt to how customers do business. But you also have to, grow your mindset. So that was a huge part for him in getting involved in Service Roundtable and really taking a deep dive, looking under the hood at the financials, having the hard conversations, eating a little crow. It's hard to look at your business and say, ooh, that's not so great. but it's necessary to grow and improve. It's absolutely necessary. And so when I came in, I did not have any HVAC and plumbing marketing experience. I had some slight sales and marketing experience, but quite frankly, my background is in elementary education and people. So had to learn, whole new world. But it was so nice to be able to jump in with Service Roundtable because they had the content that I was lacking. I had a lot of common sense about HVAC and plumbing, but I didn't know what a condenser was. I knew what a water heater was. Water heater. It is not. It is a water heater. But there were just so many great tools that we were able to use from Service Roundtable. And I actually went and met with them in Coppell last week and shared with them from 3 years ago, how we utilized them versus how we're utilizing their tools now. And we do use quite a few of the vendors that are Service Roundtable vendors because we love, if so many people are using it and having great success with it and getting a great rebate on it, why not? If it's working well, why not? And so Hatch came along. I actually attended the virtual, I think it was Service World during the year of COVID, which would be last year, 21. And I listened to Lou Hobaika do his talk. And there's certain people you connect to, and I just connected to him. I love how he does business. And he's all about automation and simplifying doing business with customers, because that's our number one goal is how can we make doing business with us easy? We want to be the Amazon experience, if you will, of heating and plumbing. People want it now. They don't want to call you. They don't want to have to explain things. They want to type it out, book an appointment, and move along their life, right? So he recommended, because we knew that one of our biggest black eyes in particular was following up on unsold estimates. That was huge. But also just staying in touch with our existing customers. We were just lacking terribly in those areas. And Hatch has just been, it was one of those things he recommended. Primarily, he recommended it for rehash, but now we've taken it, kind of made it our baby, and we use it for any and everything you can imagine. We'll talk more about that whenever you're ready. But that was, and Lou is a Service Roundtable member. And so that connection came from him sharing at a talk. We learned about Hatch from him. And now I've gone on and I do the same thing constantly, sharing with people how, helpful it is, how automated it is, and how simple.
That's great to hear. Yeah, I think it was right around the time where we actually partnered with Service Roundtable. Might need to send Lou a nice gift there. But as far as like the biggest challenges, obviously, a lot of people are concerned about recession, like people's spending habits. Everything is somewhat like changing a little bit, but there's still like an absolute need out there, right? For like, your services, which is a benefit, it is a required thing. You need heat, you need cooling, and you need working plumbing. So in terms of like some of the challenges that you've seen, like in your industry, are there any like main ones that come top of mind, and like how you're going about to like solve those challenges?
Yeah. So I would say the one that we've been most hard hit with would be price increases. For us, due to our size and the fact that we are backed by a private equity company, we do have some pretty good buying power. We were initially hit with equipment shortages too, and boy, that was crazy. So we literally went and bought everything under the sun and put it in a Connex box and kept it. Wow. We hoarded equipment. So, but that has kind of come to pass. But it doesn't matter who you're backed by, if you're the bigger man, the smaller man, the middle man. Price increases are hitting everyone, and they have to be handed to the customer. And so being able, one of the ways that we've tried to combat that a little bit is by being very transparent with our customers. When we get a price increase letter, that says, XYZ brand water heaters are going up 8% by whatever date, we send that correspondence out to our customer base and let them know. We let them know because we're not making it up. It is coming directly from the manufacturer, and we just can't eat those costs. So that's been a huge one, is the price increases. But one of the things, and another thing too, that we're able to really to help combat that is getting people involved in our maintenance program. Because if they take care of their equipment, 6 years out, 7 years out, they may not be looking at a replacement, 8 years, 10 years, whatever it may be, right? But if they're taking care of that equipment like they are their car, it's going to last longer. So really educating a lot about the importance of maintenance.
We completely agree. Yeah. Yeah, it just goes to show, like, your spending habits, you're going to pay more to keep something around than you are just to replace it. And as far as like, with some of these challenges and the way that people are spending money, a lot of people are a little bit more hesitant to like pull the trigger. Like, would you say, like, is that like how you're utilizing Hatch to get people like over the finish line, or just get yourself like more at bats to get people over?
One of the things, and obviously, in a perfect world, technicians will do everything they're supposed to say and do in the field, right? They don't. Mm-hmm. That's where Hatch has been beautiful, because I call it's like my housekeeper. Tech goes out, they don't mention anything about financing. Well, in the economy we're in, where people are terrified to spend any money, if they have any money, right? They need financing options. They need options. And that was another piece I meant to add on there, is we are seeing people finance lesser amounts, but it's because, they absolutely require the services we have. They require, like you said, heating, cooling, and plumbing. And so one of the things that I find is that, I'll do a follow-up with a customer and they're like, I'm really, I just don't have the money right now. And I'm like, hey, we can finance, which we've worked with different companies to be able to finance certain amounts, but we can finance as low as, I think we've gone now as low as $1,000, because that might take care of a repair for a customer. And so I use Hatch. I send them the link to apply for our financing right through Hatch. And I say, here it is on our website. If you're interested, if you have questions, let me know. Go ahead, let me know if you apply. I'll pull everything and we can go from there. Just giving them those options using Hatch.
Yeah, I think it helps you like get a lot more yeses. I think one of like the biggest things is like, first, like lead costs are up, right? Like obviously they're transferring that to you as their customer. But it doesn't mean like you need to stop trying to convert more of those, like, not like necessarily throwing in the towel. You just need to be more efficient with what you have in front of you. So if you are getting like 10% less leads or 10% less appointments, how do you close 10% more? I think that's like the biggest challenge. Whereas if you keep your foot on the gas, like you really do have the opportunity to take over more market share, like in the industry. And just knowing like the way that you utilize Hatch, you engage with such a high amount of people that didn't say yes at the home, certainly would make an impact, and as you go through the sales cycle at the end of the line. So, for yourself, like in your sales process, like I understand, like you've gotten a lot of coaching from like Service Roundtable and other areas like that. Has anything changed within your current sales process with utilizing Hatch, or has it somewhat been the same and you're just attacking something on the back?
Honestly, I would say we haven't changed much of anything. This was such a seamless addition for us, but I'm also a realist and I'm really honest. And I got up in front of our technicians and I said, I love each of you guys to pieces. And I would have any of you come in my home and take care of something. But your follow-up game is weak sauce. And so I hit my team, and I can do this because I have the rapport with them. But I hit my guys with follow-up statistics and what it takes to close a sale. And it is so big in terms of when you're thinking, right? Like, it's not just, oh, I'll call them once and leave a voicemail because I don't want to pester them. Hey, the beautiful thing about Hatch takes out the personal, like, I don't want to irritate people. I don't like confrontation, but I sure as heck am competitive and I want to close that sale. So it takes out that, like, it keeps the personal piece there, but it takes it away from me. Like, so I'm not feeling like, oh my God, I'm pestering these people. No, it's just happening in the background. It's doing its job for me, right? But the buy-in was incredible. Just showing the guys, I pulled up the dashboard. I said, here's how it works. Every single call you go out on, depending on what type of call it is, we're going to follow up with within X number of hours. They all know me. They all trust me, and they know I'm going to treat our customers good. They know the messaging's coming from me. So I showed them all of that. I showed them the campaign cadence. And I also showed them, let's look at it this way. You can have said number of additional sales for the month, or you can just stick with what you had, right? Because, our guys only run 5 calls a day. We don't run our guys to death. Mm-hmm. So we do not have time for follow-up built in unless it's our sales guys.
Yeah.
We do have, but even for them, I close systems all the time. So it's about catching people when it's convenient for them. And that is what I have found to be like. I had a lady last week. Here I'm in the hospital sick, not well. Had this little lady last week. She was so mad at us because something backed up, leaked on her ceiling. I think it was drain. We agreed to go back and fix it. Well, the ball got dropped and restoration didn't get out there in a timely fashion. And then last week she messages me through Hatch, can I follow up with you? Can I send you my frustration? I was like, yes, send it. I'll get it right to the manager. She sends it to me. Then yesterday morning, she buys an $8,000 insulation package. It doesn't get better than that. All because I was available when she was ready to talk, but I was able to communicate with her in the way she wanted to communicate. 100%. I'm telling you, I will answer the phone 9 times out of 10 via text message, and I might answer it 2 out of 10 with a phone call because my life is busy. I'm a full-time mother. I'm a full-time employee, but I can sit in a meeting and I can snag a little text message real quick. You know what I mean? And so can our customers.
Yeah, I think it's the way like people have evolved, right? Like, 25, 30 years ago, people weren't texting like as like a normal part of their life. But 98% of texts are open. 93% are read and responded to within 3 minutes. So it's definitely shifting, right? And to your point, a sales rep is only going to have time to follow up when they're working. They're not going to follow up at 6, 7, 8 o'clock at night. And no one expects you to, but oftentimes the people that you are targeting, right? People that have homes, people that have maybe some sort of disposable income to do these repairs or these installations, they're working as well. And it's a lot easier of a friction point if you're just able to shoot them a quick text. And one thing I do notice that you do really well as well is the rehash is not coming directly from the rep. It's coming from someone outside of it. Do you find that they're going to give you more feedback that way on the actual, like how the appointment went versus like trying to say no to a sales professional to their face?
Yes, because honestly, it comes off. I speak to the customers through text message the way I would sit here and have a conversation. I speak with exclamation points and, happiness and joy, and they can feel all of that, right? And so I just want to let them know, like, my number one thing is thank you for having us out, first and foremost. And when I do get pushback, like we went with another contractor, do you mind if I ask you what your deciding factor was? Was it related to price? Was it related to an issue with the technician? They're very forthcoming. I'll be honest, most of it's price because we're not the cheapest company, and we're fine with that. But they're not as comfortable having that person that was in their home that they built that rapport with. They don't want to tell them no. They feel uncomfortable. But me, it's just like, hey, this is Casey with Strittmatter, checking in on you. How's everything? just kind of like an extension of the company. And I want to pick your brain and see what's going on. How can I help you? You know, had a guy, gosh, last week, and I think we got to the 5th day in the text cycle, day 5. And he finally responds and he says, I'm going to call you after work. And I was thinking, well, you're not calling me because I got it forwarded. But I mean, he's having a $17,000 system installed this week.
That's awesome.
You know, that's the kind of stuff. It's like, that's where I think people worry sometimes about the redundancy and the repetitiveness of those text messages. But I find that I have not touched your all's cadence. I use the tried and true cadence for rehash that y'all use because I believe A, it's research based, and B, if it's not broken, why fix it, right? I just go in and I change up the tone of the messaging so that it is me in a text message.
Mm-hmm.
And customers love it. I mean, they'll reach out to me on a Sunday and say, oh my gosh, my water spigot's broken. You know, can you help me? And I'm like, call this number and we'll get you right in. You know what I mean? So it's like they have now saved me. I'm their person.
That's awesome.
Which is like a blessing and a curse, but it
is.
That's what I want as the marketer, though. I want our customers to love us and to remember us.
That's great. Yeah, I think there's definitely revenue out of it because, you know, it can take up to 5 times for someone to actually respond. You know, we find that even people that are utilizing like a system like Hatch, you know, they're increasing their close percentage. Like it's going to happen because it's almost like, you know, people are going to go with first and the last person that they spoke with oftentimes. So if you are quick within your engagement, if someone fills out a form, and if you are actually reaching out to them, I can't count how many times that I have somebody at my house quoting me. I never hear from them again. I have a couple of Hatch customers close by to me that will send me follow-up. I'm like, I know what they're doing, but they're at least engaging me and understand he has not made his decision yet. I still need to be top of mind.
One of the things I have found to be of such interest is I started with Hatch with kind of a healthy, I wouldn't call it skepticism, but little fear, not wanting to upset people. And I kid you not, the thank yous that we get for following up, constant. I might, in my whole time, I probably could run a report and find out. I've probably we started in May of 21.
Yep.
So I think I've opted out maybe 20 people completely, truly opted out.
So that's not many.
Maybe. I mean, people do not mind it. And they also don't mind telling a text message, no thank you, or yes. They don't mind having that conversation via text. There's a personalization to it that removes that pressure.
Absolutely. And so you've been with Hatch for a year and a half, let's say. What do you have an estimation on what the return on investment's been for you in Strittmatter and Strittmatter?
I'll be honest, I've been a little under the weather the last week or so. I have not hit it as hard, but I did a little ROI for our annual best practices meeting to share Hatch with our sister companies across the U.S. And from May of last year through May of this year, we had a 59-to-1 ROI. So we had brought in an additional we brought in close to $600,000 in additional revenue. And that is literally an automated text message going out. And the manual labor that is required of me to actually close those is very minimal.
That's awesome.
Some of the guys in the office, some of the managers that don't necessarily understand it, right? They're like, well, shouldn't the technicians be doing this? And shouldn't they do that? Well, yeah, they should. They ought to be, but they're not. So let's do it for them. Because, for what we pay a month, and now that I have an assistant and I can literally focus on this, there's no telling what we're going to be able to do with it.
Yeah.
I have so many ideas for how to use it.
Yeah, and there's certainly ways that people can utilize Hatch for really anything. Rehash is obviously our bread and butter, but we do a lot of speed to lead. That's also one of our bread and butter. But one thing I do notice is that your organization does is you just reach out and touch the customer more often than not. And I think that's important, right? Because like, even if someone's not on your maintenance program and they got maintenance from you a year ago, they're due for maintenance, right? So even if they're
Yes.
not, they're hesitant to like, I don't want to join a program. That's fine, but you should still have the opportunity to earn their business again.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we use Hatch as well. I have a sales board set up for our CSR manager supervisor, and we always start with a text reminder first to schedule maintenance for our current members. We have a graphic made with our logo on it and say happy fall or happy spring. It's time for your tune up. We send them our schedule engine link right through Hatch. And
That's
it
awesome.
just, think of the time and the efficiency. That's what we're all about, is like increasing efficiencies. And, yes, some of our older folks may still want to call in and things like that. That's great. We do it. We do a 3-touch. We do three, I'll call 3.5, but we'll do a text first. If no response within that week, then they will receive an outbound phone call.
Mm-hmm.
If no response within that month, they'll get a postcard.
Okay.
We haven't sent a postcard in a year and a half.
Wow.
We don't need to. Yes.
Certainly saving on some postage.
Seriously.
So yeah, I appreciate you giving us some intel. I always think it's important for people like to hear from, their peers, because obviously I'm with Hash, everyone that I call thinks we're selling them, which makes total sense in the world, right? Because we are in a way. But even if it's outside of Hatch or with Hatch, great. Like, but is there any like suggestion you would give to people as they're like looking forward to, let's say 2023? I know everyone's in like their planning mode, which is good, but I also think there's an opportunity to really like hit it really hard still, but also be smart about it. Is there anything that you're thinking about in particular going into next year that other people should also be thinking about?
Yeah. One of the things, I actually met with Joe yesterday, and an area that I really want to crank up on is our existing customer. And to me, there's no simpler way to marry Hatch with our existing customer database. We can literally touch any single person in there in a matter of seconds for any reason. And that to me, we have already paid for that customer.
Mm-hmm.
We have already paid for them, whether through direct mail, cable, local services, pay-per-click, whatever it may be. We have paid for that customer. And so that's going to be for us. Like, I actually woke up in the middle of the night and wrote myself a note. One of the things that I'm going to start doing, and we should have already been doing it, we just don't have that many people. I want to start doing our thank yous. We're still a little dinosaur because our customers in Denton are spoiled. They get a handwritten thank you card. Our girls refuse to stop doing it. That's great. I'm still going to automate it. But I want to start doing a 24-hour after follow-up thank you text just to say thank you. Because right now, when people don't have money to spend and they choose you to spend their money with, to me, that deserves gratitude.
Yeah.
So that's going to be kind of one of those things. Like, I'm going to start layering in, how can I hit those existing customers in every direction possible? Even if it's to say, hey, even if it's to send them a link to a blog, a newsletter, whatever the case, drive traffic over to the website, read my blog. You know what I mean? So really focusing on the existing customer is my biggest piece going into 23.
Awesome. Yeah, I think that's important because, again, if you're top of mind, it reduces the likelihood that they're going to go back into Google and then, someone bidding on your keyword or your company name, which happens. But yeah, I really appreciate you joining us. I think I'm out of questions, but
Okay.
yeah, it's as always, it's great to chat with you. And, if there's certainly any recommendations, for us, you let us know and we're always here.
All right. If anybody needs anything, put them in contact with me. I'm glad to help.
All right. Take care, Casey. I appreciate the time.
All right. Have a great day.
You too.
Bye-bye.